Alright, so eventually this thing will load. Alright, let's see who's all's in here. Renee Carmine. Decent field. Decently strong field for HPD. Only 4 GT1s and 2 GT3s. Curidon is in here today. So I am going to use medium downforce. Never raced here in medium downforce before, but on this track, to get low to work, you just have to shift the downforce so far forward that it's just almost undrivable. Gotta check on something here. All right. All right, let's get a qual session out of the way then. Hey, Paul. Paul, I thought I saw you in the practice session. I thought you'd be in here. This ought to be a pretty good race with Renee in here. Renee's pretty quick.
You have about 5 laps of fuel left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understood. Sometimes better just to wait. I got to get in an actual race. I raced one earlier in the week, and I don't know, I had like a lap lead and I crashed out. Stopped focusing, just get complacent. So I need to get one decent race in, because I got the Autobahn League race this evening, so I won't be able to run anymore today. Front is, I think I had a 49.8 was my best, but I don't think this track situation is going to allow that. I'm blowing it now. Imola.
One more lap.
Look at that, I'm going to be way off.
1 minute
52.0. Yeah, it's way down there.
9.
Oh, that hurt. Got on the throttle and it lost traction. Dang it. It was looking good there for a second. Oh well.
You got about 2 laps of fuel.
Lost traction again. Oh, and there's a 1X. Dang it. Come on, John. Oh well. Could be worse. I'm just not used to running at medium downforce. I need to test something real quick.
Alright, there's the checkered flag.
Alright. say the least. Yeah, 130s all the time there. Try to change it up a little bit. Oh no. I forgot to change the time on the thing here. My fuel meter. That was almost a disaster. Now I have to give, let's see here. Now I gotta go to the bathroom, damn it.
1 lap to green.
Oh well.
Line up on the right side. Pit road is closed.
.31.4 is fast. I thought for a moment I was gonna get into the 29s, but I can't seem to quite get there. It's all fun. Doesn't matter. Uh-oh, steering is real heavy. I don't like running setting 1 and medium downforce with this OSW. It makes it just real heavy. And low downforce it's okay. I run it in 1 and low downforce, but in medium for some reason, man, it just like you can't even. It's fine. I can turn it. It feels too I don't know, dampened almost. I didn't change much from last season's set to this season's set at Imola. I mean, nothing that needed. There was nothing that really needed to be done. I just made changes based on differences in how I'm feeling on that day, like stuff with dampers, things like that. So that it really doesn't affect the overall speed. But sometimes I'm hitting the curbs in that chicane a little bit harder than other times, and so I'll adjust the setup based on that. And other times I'm not. It's just different days I drive a little bit differently. So last season's setup is fine, just with the tire adjustments and stuff that need to be made. But the chassis settings and everything else are actually really good. Yeah, I just don't have anything mapped for that, so when I do it, I have to go this route. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, yeah. That's a pit stop adjustment. It has to be adjusted during a pit stop, so by then I'll be used to how it's running, so I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah, I should have had this pole by a half a second. Wing 7's not far enough forward for me within medium downforce. Alright, I'm going to have to focus on this race a little bit more than I was the other night when I wrecked out of a 1 lap lead. And if you haven't seen it, my video list, You can see my daughter's race from Saturday. We ended up in the emergency room. She went off the track at about 65 miles an hour into the tire barrier, actually through the tire barrier, then through the chain link fence. But video's up on my playlist there.
Get
She was
ready,
all right though.
going
She
green.
just minor concussion and a whole
The
bunch of
car is
bruises.
in. Green, green, green. Car on your left. Clear.
He was determined to keep pushing me down low, wasn't he? It's not very French of him. I'll let them go do what they got to do. I'm just going to follow them. Tire barriers, man, there's not much you can do about it. Carts punch through them like a needle. Here we come to Aero Wash Town. They changed that turn from carousel to Aero Wash. That's all it is, one big Aero Wash. I wish I'd run low downforce.
One minute 57.503.
Make them think I'm gonna do it. See if I can shake them up a little. This will mess with his brain. I'm not usually any good in carousel without the damn Aero Wash. Let these two monkeys go ahead and take each other out.
One minute 53.516. Left side, car right. Clear.
He bounced me off that wall.
Sorry, John, but there was not really space.
I think your spotter's not working there, dude. 'Cause that's the second time you ran me over to that wall when I was full on side of you. Besides, you already know I'm going to lift in that turn. I'm just trying to stay out of your draft so I'm not hitting you. I'm stronger than them in every turn section. I messed up in qualifying and didn't get it on the pole like I should have. Yeah, I just don't want to be in his draft going into the braking zone. I can't pass him, not medium downforce going into this turn. You can carry such a late braking move there that the outside has the advantage. So going to the inside, I'm just wanting to stay out of his draft more than anything else. Whenever we're getting to the braking zone, I mean, obviously, I want to be in it down the straightaway. It's like right here, I always kind of cut left there and then back out. Oh, car tried to come around. I almost wish Renee was a dirtier driver so that he would hit this guy in front of us, but I've never actually seen him hit anybody, so I don't think he's going to. This is a good run for Marco, actually, being up front, holding us off. Marco's usually fast anyway, but usually a third, fourth place kind of guy. Let off right there. I was planning on getting a run, but I was going to hit him.
One minute 53.564.
Okay, I expect him to make a move this time. And he didn't. I figured he would, but I guess he's playing it safe too. Since we are in medium downforce, we burn more fuel, so the more time you can spend in a draft, the better you're off there.
Left side, the next car's the leader, clear on the left.
These guys got themselves. Oh no, and Renee spun out. Hopefully they didn't.
Sorry, Mark, that was my fault.
Hopefully they didn't hit. Did y'all get any damage?
Okay, you are the leader.
Didn't look like they hit hard. I couldn't even really tell that they hit, but you never know. Yeah, I was thinking eventually something, but as you saw, Renee had a few opportunities to really try to force a braking maneuver pass on him, but he didn't do it because Renee's usually pretty clean. I wouldn't think that was intentional or not even really aggressive. I think it was just a mistake, maybe. like the lap before, whenever he lifted, and I had to lift to not hit him. It may have been a maneuver like that where Marco had to lift and Renee didn't, or didn't notice it in time, because they were really close. The good thing is that I'm considerably stronger on the brakes than both of those guys, so Marco does catch back up with me. Passing me is going to be tough for him, because you kind of have to get somebody going into the braking zone in these cars. And despite qualifying, I have a little more pace than they do. I just messed up qualifying, as always. There was a time when I would get pole position after pole position, and lately, over the last year or so, I've just really turned into a bad qualifier. Like, if you're in a team driver situation, I'm not the guy you want qualifying. Okay, yeah, Paul, I think that's what it looked like. I mean, I could barely make up any contact. Alright, so coming up on the two Ford GTs, they're not too far from each other, so they're actually got a little something going on.
Left side.
No
Clear
kidding.
on the left.
Don't worry about me, I'll pass where I can. I don't need instruction on where to pass. I can't stand that. Means you're not. That's why he was so slow in that corner, because he was looking at me. He was watching his mirror and not his driving. I have the advantage. I can see you by looking forward. You have to see me by looking backwards.
Right side. Clear on the right.
And my daughter, I just ended up staying home from school today. They said, you know, not to go back to school for 2 days. Thought that's nonsense. She's ginger, kind of beat up a little bit, but she's alright otherwise. Especially if she wants to race Texas Sprint Series next weekend. She needs to be moving around and getting the blood flowing again. It just sucked because her and the two boys that were in front, they were set up for such a great battle, and they usually do have good fights. But we had her finally set up. We thought she could win. Now, see, she's outgunned engine-wise. She's on a Rotax engine, and they're on Iami X30 engines, which she's given up, you know, 2 or 3 horsepower to those things. Plus, they're really strong out of the hole, and they're really strong on the top end. Her engine's really strong on the mid-range. And so on the starts, you know, and she's not she's a hard-headed starter anyway. She won't stay on their bumper. So you combine that with the engine not really having any low-end push, and she just can't hang on to them. And another kid in it with an X30 crowded her around the outside from behind. He came around back and went up on the high side on the start. And then he, you know, he came down and pushed into her. Then that killed her momentum even further and allowed the other car to go by. And then the girl that went by, you know, she's about a second and a half faster, JC is, than the girl that went by that ended up running her off the track. JC's about a second and a half faster than her. Because it's usually those three, Adrian, Caden, and JC, are usually running away from the rest of the group. And in the heat race, JC they were all three of them were within 1/10 of a second of each other on their lap times. And JC was 8 pounds over on the scales, so we took 5 pounds of weight off, which was going to help her. And she's better as the race goes on. They're usually faster in the early part of the race, and then she reels them in the late part. She's got that slow starter syndrome. We're trying to get her through, but her little girl brain just can't get out of the way, it seems. She worries about things and thinks about stuff too much. She doesn't just focus in and drive until about 3 laps into it, and then she gets mad or something because they get ahead of her, and once she gets mad, that's when she starts really flying.
1 minute 53.254.
Lone GT1, let's see if he makes it easy on me. Nope.
Car right. Clear.
Thanks, Edu. You're not in a battle with anybody, but could have lifted before the braking zone so I could have come back over in front of you. Then I'd have been able to give you the draft on the exit. We'd have been good. So Renee's back to third. I think he had fallen to fourth or fifth. What are you talking about? You did like 35 laps in one practice session the other night.
Car on your left. Stay on the right. Clear on the left.
I like how you can see the cars on the other part of the track going through. That really just adds to the immersion for me. I think that's Thunder Valley. You can see over there when you're heading down the turn 5. Front tires are pressured up too much. Okay, 35. I hadn't run very many laps
1
either,
minute
but
52.56.
already I mean, it's pretty dialed in already. The setup was already pretty good, so I didn't really need to. I tried to get in there last night, but man, I was so dog beat down from being at the emergency room till 4 o'clock in the morning the night before, and getting up early because of Mother's Day and everything else. That, and I just didn't have the. I just didn't have the will to run any laps last night. I logged in and was like, I just don't feel like doing this. Ran like 2 or 3 laps and called it quits. I saw you and Benefield were in there. I saw you had the pace on him. Looks like Renee may be reeling Marco back in. Yeah, smoking's bad. Shouldn't
1
smoke.
minute 52.537.
Yeah, Renee's moving. He's on the move. Renee's going to catch Marco.
One minute 52.589.
hopefully they catch him somewhere other than the main straightaway, because that cost me a bit of time there, about 3/4 tenths. Hey, Robert.
1 minute 52.923.
How come you're not in this race, D'Souza? Hey, Tony Kart Racer, go watch my last upload, my daughter's race from Saturday night. You'll find it interesting. You know, even though she races a Formula K. Oh, matter of fact, the offending party was a Tony Kart.
Clear.
So that'll work. Yeah, you say it like the number 1 and number 2 car were like running away from me. But yeah, they shoved each other around, and the final turn allowed me to go by. No, she's not a tomboy, that's for sure, but she loves racing, so.
1 minute 53.5.
She had a little incident. The problem we're having right now is she's on a road tax racing against X30s, and you don't have a chance doing that. But she was second in points going into this race. She won't be anymore. She'll probably be in third.
5 laps of fuel.
Burn about 1/4 pound more fuel per lap than I do in low downforce. Yeah, real racing. Just look at my last upload. You'll see. I have several uploads of her races on my YouTube channel. Yeah, Renee's just about caught Marco now. He's within a second, so he's pretty much has him. For all intents and purposes, or as the rednecks say, for all intensive purposes.
One minute 52.25.
Couldn't get that back end to get traction. I was sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. That's what Billy's racing now, is shifter carts. Billy Smith, he's moved on to shifters. I'm still in 206. I don't have time to run shifters. I can show up to the track and race without any practice in a 206. I can't do that in a two-stroke. Can't race tag because of that anymore either. That's what I was racing, was tag. I can't do that either. So 206 to four-stroke's the only thing I can just show up, pull the cord, and race. Yeah, back during turn 2, I could not, if you look at it, you can see that I was waiting and waiting and waiting to get on the throttle, trying to let that back end get grit, but it just wouldn't. Yeah, there's a lot of people in 206. No, I'm just running just a regular 206. There's nobody running the World Formula around us, so rather than be the only one, I can race on a 20 kart grid with just a regular Briggs & Stratton 206. There it was again, wouldn't get traction.
You got about 2 laps of fuel left.
Yeah, last year at four-stroke Grand Nationals, I pretty much had almost a lock for a win, because I was running in second place, and I qualified in that race like 5th or 6th, and I caught first and second pretty quick and passed second pretty easily.
You got a slow car on the right.
And then I was just shadowing the first place cart because I was just going to draft by him. And a fuel pump quit working. Come out of a corner, I had the inside run, and all of a sudden I started sputtering. And I broke my rib too in that weekend, because then in the next day, the next race, because that was in a master's class, and in the senior class, I qualified, I think 11th out of 40, and then, but I was over the weight limit for senior quite a bit. But I started working my way up. I probably could have finished top 10 or so, but I had a broken rib, so it was just killing me going around that track, and then I got washed out by a guy that races at our track. One of the guys that races with me washed me out. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. But I think I ended up finishing 13th or 14th. $3K for what? $3,000 for a cart? You better look at the parts that's on a race cart. That stuff costs money. Unless you're talking about direct drive wheels, and I'm with you. That's why I have an OSW and not a Bodner. Bodner's awesome, incredible, great, and all, but I just can't see spending that much money when I can get something pretty close with an OSW. Alright, gonna have to pit this time through. The good news is I turned in a hell of an end lap. This would have been my fastest lap of the race by more than 1/10 of a second if I wasn't going into the pits. Alright, so how much fuel are we going to add? 60 pounds? £61. I don't think so. 60 pounds? Yeah, 61 pounds. We're just going to stick with that. .1 second of optional repairs. I don't know if I can wait on that. So Vladimir either hasn't pit yet or he didn't take near enough fuel. I don't know which. Tires about $2.25 each, $220 each, $225 each. Not each, but each set. This first lap back out that the tires have heat cycled. It's always gnarly. It's worse than being on cold tires. Where is Marco? Polo. Marco. Sorry. You know, that stupid commercial with Marco Polo in the pool, you know, harkened back to my childhood. Don't none of you try to act like you've never played Marco Polo. Okay, he hadn't pit yet, that's what it was. Yeah, it's what it is. Pretty much a lawnmower engine. You can get a box stock 206 for about $1,000. But you know, it may share the same shell as a lawnmower engine, but it's not. it's pretty different on the internals.
Car right.
I'd rather have passed
Clear.
after that turn. See, that's why I don't want. I don't know. It's like talking to walls. I'm not even gonna bother saying it. I'm like the Lewis Black of sim racing. You know, I'm like all calm and everything. Then I'm like, stop fucking looking in your mirrors, asshole. Trying to avoid turning into a grumpy ass old man. I don't know if I'm gonna stream tonight's race or not. I might. We'll see. Streaming on that track is pretty tough with that many cars. If we have 60 cars or 50 cars, or even 40 cars or 30 cars, it's a lot of resource. I have to turn my graphic settings down a little bit. Alright, 17 minutes to go to keep this thing together and not throw it into a wall. Okay, so Renee's back in second. He's faster than Marco too. I'm thinking he messed up with qualifying is what happened as well, just like I did. But I think he's faster than Marco, but I don't know where Marco is. Something must have happened to him. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's in third. He's 9 seconds back. He must have spun or something on that outlap, knowing how nasty these tires are once they heat cycle. Yeah, we've run GoPro before. If we'd have had the GoPro on that race, probably would have been destroyed because she hit the framing for the fence. She hit the piping for the fence behind the tire wall. So it probably would have whacked the shit out of that GoPro. I'm gonna work on moving it to a new location on our cart.
Clear.
But where we normally had it mounted, would have gotten a shit knocked out of it. Would have been good footage for sure. The better footage would have been if my wife would have filmed me running across the track whenever I heard on the radio when they called for EMTs. That's when I wasn't going to go out there. I don't go out there when she crashes. But when they started calling for EMTs, I leapt the wall and took off. I hadn't run that fast in years. And everybody was like, wow, we didn't know you could run that fast. Like, yeah, you know, when it's your child out there and you hear them calling for EMTs, you know, you'd be surprised what you can do. Just because I've gotten old and a little fat doesn't mean I'm not still an athlete. I still have muscle memory somewhere in there. Oh yeah, I get 9 million views. I don't like to do that. She was going probably about. She was at the top of that straightaway. They're going just under 75. So by the time she jumped down off that hill, by the time she hit the tire barrier, she was probably down in the 50s somewhere. And I felt so bad for Caitlin Ewing, as the girl that pushed her up wide like that, because she was hysterical afterwards. Like, you know, Caitlin, it's just a racing incident. You didn't, you know, it just happens. It's only a matter of inches with those karts because they're open wheel. Once they touch, somebody's going off. And Caitlin, I think, was, you know, she's never been up in third or second like that, you know, ahead of JC before, so she, you know, she was probably white knuckling it big time through there, even though she does have a lot of experience. She's been racing for years. The other girl has. You know, there's 3 girls in that class and like 11 boys, so we want the girls to do well. Yeah, it's very rare for kids to get killed in karting. Usually there's some kind of negligence involved. You know, there was a track, I think it was in Arizona. There's a kid got killed, but it was because one of the idiot track workers drove a dock mule across the track pulling a trailer on a hot track. Like, are you shitting me? And then there was one here recently in Texas, a girl that raced at our track a couple summers ago. She got killed, but it was at a SCCA parking lot event, which is another problem. I hate parking lot events. They should not exist. They're the worst fucking thing ever. And I think SCCA has pulled them now. They're not running karts on parking lot events anymore, because the karts can go under shit. There's nothing to isolate them from you know, cars, trailers. What she went under was those cables that surround the parking lots. That have those little parking blocks with the cables that run through them and create the perimeter. She went under one. I mean, it's just horrible. And what a thing to have happen, you know.
1 minute 53.158.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, back on that, I would never, ever, ever let my daughter run a cart in a parking lot. It just absolutely insane. It was in a parking lot at Texas Motor Speedway. There's just too much shit you can hit.
One minute 52.786.
And my daughter's hair is crazy long. Her braided ponytail hangs halfway down her back when she got it up in her helmet even. So we tuck it away. My wife braids it into a ponytail and they tuck it under. Of course she has the full, she didn't have the donut neck brace, she has the full one that goes down the back. Car went sideways there.
You have about 5 laps of fuel left.
7 minutes left. Yeah, the only parking lot event we're going to participate in this year is going to be Super Nats at in Las Vegas, but you know they set that up like a regular circuit track. Oh yeah, she runs the most expensive protective gear that they make. Like I said, you know, a lot of kids running those donuts, those neck donuts, and I don't like those. I have her running that full collar, goes up behind the helmet and then goes down her back. And I think if she didn't have that on, as hard as she hit that
Mark,
wall,
I don't want to be second like this.
she may have had an issue. Because you can see where it hit the back of her helmet, stopping her from snapping her head back.
Car on your left. Clear on the left.
Yeah, we're going.
You got a slow car
Yeah,
on the right.
we go to a lot of the events. JC didn't go to the one in Sonoma, but our team did. I've been keeping her out of traveling to those events like that lately. I'm gonna get her, trying to keep her focused here.
1 minute 54.495.
But yeah, sure, we're gonna go to Super Nats in Vegas. minutes. Come on. It's like 2 more laps. Yeah, I am. I decided I wanted to try to race with medium. I've been running low, but I run like the same lap times. The difference is with low, I can pass people easier, it seems like, but I don't know. It's just with low, you have to shift the downforce so far forward just to get the car to not be a snowplow, and then it's just so dangerous from the corners. Took away that frontal downforce when they redid that package, that low downforce package, and it's just completely screwed this car up. No, I'm a business director for them. I wish I owned it. If I owned it, I'd be doing whatever the fuck I want. I wouldn't be working that much. Marco got it ahead of Renee. Renee must have hit something, because now he's 38 seconds down. That's not right.
You have about 2 laps of fuel left.
Jens Paul. Hey, Jens. Jens is a cool name. Ran off the track. I was about to say thank you, but I don't want to say thank you after he ran off the track, because that might seem like I'm being an asshole. Okay, so this is the white flag.
One minute 52.816. Right side. Clear on the right.
Oh well. It would have been nice to set my fastest lap on the last lap, but sometimes you just can't. I haven't really been pushing hard either, so no reason to. Just been running let's say if I had to, I've probably been running at 90-95%. I haven't been running at 100%. Still been running, pretty hard, because I've noticed that when I slack off and start backing up the pace, that's when I wreck. I rarely wreck when I'm pushing hard. I always wreck when I'm not. There it is.
You won. Why did the others bother to show
No,
up?
they didn't. They didn't take tires. I think they got it, or maybe they did. No reason to, because I could have easily turned my fastest lap at the end of the race there. Thank you, thank you. I was fortunate. They got tangled up in front of me, let me get by them, and then they hung around 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds back until the pit, and then they fell off completely. So I don't know. It's a mental thing, Alex. When I tune in and decide that I'm going to run, as long as I'm focused, as long as I'm focused 100% forward, as long as I'm not looking around, thinking about stuff, I'll run at 100% of my pace every time. I mean, I'll push and push and push and push. If something's not quite right, car's not quite right, meaning it's me really, because it'll be the same setup, and all of a sudden I'm driving it a little different, like I was talking about earlier with some of the setup changes I make that really don't equate to any more speed. If I'm just in a different mind frame on driving, I'll run probably 90%, 80%, and let it go. But in this one, I was able to pretty much stay focused. A few laps, and I'd look to see what you guys were saying, try to read, try to get the context of what was being said. I ran a little slower, but yeah, that's because, well, I mean, I seem to wreck when there's no one in front of me. You have bird dog syndrome. When there's somebody in front of you, you're chasing them. So some people are good when they're chasing. Some people are front runners. Some people are really good.
I only want to know if I can get back to you before the stop, and I could, and the rest. I don't care so much about positions. I'm more about nice racing.
Renee's always a good guy. I attest to that.
Yeah, I feel sorry when stuff like this happens. Also with you, my spotter didn't say anything, and yeah, just people. One of these races.
It happens. The deal with me was no big deal. If I'm directly behind you that close as I was less than a tenth off, I have to move out of your draft. Otherwise, if I guess wrong where we're braking, I'm going to plow into you. So that's all I knew, because you saw from lap 1, I didn't try to come in under the brakes. I backed out early. I'm not going to try to pass there
Okay, the race is over.
because I
Bring
know
it
how
on in.
fast you can go around the high side of it. So yeah, I was just trying to stay off your draft.
Yeah, it's one of these tracks with medium and low downforce setups very close together. It's always a little bit of a hassle.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've run medium downforce, and I run the same lap times in low. I usually run low, and it would have actually made that a lot easier, because if I'd have been in low, I'd have been able to drive by y'all on that straight. But I don't know. I wanted to try it because everybody else is doing it, and it seems to hold together better towards the end of the race than low does. Low falls off more, but your pit times are shorter because you don't use as much fuel in low downforce. So I mean, there's so many trade-offs. It's no right or wrong way, I guess. It's just preference.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Check out my other videos. Like I said, the one before this one, you can see JC's race and the untimely ending. But I'll see you guys later on this evening.